Have you ever felt a connection with someone and thought, maybe they like me, but somehow you're never quite sure? What if I told you that most men completely overlook the little signs women give when they're attracted to them? Today, we're about to uncover those hidden cues that many men miss. And once you see them, you'll never ignore them again. Pay close attention because these aren't obvious. They're subtle, sweet, and sometimes heartbreakingly telling. When it comes to attraction, the eyes are the first language a woman speaks, long before words ever come into play. Most men are too busy looking for overt signs, laughing at a joke, touching a hand, or complimenting her hair. But the truth is, her eyes will betray her feelings before anything else does. There's a subtle magnetism in the way she looks at someone she likes, something that's impossible to fake for long. It's not about staring or obvious glances. It's the way her eyes find you in a crowd, lingering just a fraction longer than necessary, almost as if she's memorizing every detail of your face without realizing it herself. It's in those fleeting moments when she thinks you aren't looking that the truth hides, quiet and almost sacred. A glance that returns repeatedly, a soft widening of the eyes when she sees you smile, a sparkle that appears only when she's caught in your presence. These are the whispers of her attraction, and most men don't even notice because they're looking for signs that shout rather than murmur. There's a certain rhythm to the way her eyes move, a rhythm that syncs to her feelings in a way words never could. When she's around someone she's drawn to, her gaze often shifts between curiosity and admiration, as if she's trying to understand every subtle thing about you. It's the little moments, like when she tilts her head slightly, letting her gaze linger on you as though trying to hold onto a fragment of your attention before it slips away. Even in a group, her eyes will always find a way to find yours, weaving through conversations and distractions, subtle but insistent. It's as if her eyes are telling a story you're not yet aware of. Each glance, a sentence, each lingering stare, a paragraph of her silent confession. She may look away quickly if she feels caught, but her return glance is always the giveaway, and it's almost impossible to hide a repeated pattern of attention when the heart is involved. And then there's the intensity of unspoken emotion in her eyes, the softness that appears when she watches you without the need for conversation. It's a vulnerability, almost like a secret she's revealing without a single word, a small crack in her carefully guarded composure. Men often underestimate how much can be communicated without speaking. A simple glance, held just long enough for the other person to feel it, can convey interest, curiosity, and admiration all at once. Her eyes might sparkle with amusement when you say something witty, or soften when she notices a quiet strength in you that others might overlook. The gaze can be playful, teasing, tender, or even protective, reflecting the layers of emotion she feels but can't articulate. It's the way she looks at you when she thinks you won't notice, the tiny flickers of attention that repeat like a heartbeat, that truly define the depth of her interest. Sometimes attraction isn't shouted in words or obvious actions. It whispers through the smallest of gestures, those fleeting, delicate movements that only someone paying close attention can notice. A brush of the arm as she laughs at something you said, a hand that hovers near yours longer than necessary, or the way she adjusts her hair or clothing when you glance her way. These are all subtle, almost unconscious signs that she's drawn to you. Most men miss them because they expect drama or boldness, but the truth is, genuine attraction often hides in the quiet, understated ways a woman interacts with someone she cares about. It's not the grandiose displays that matter, but these little touches of proximity and familiarity, the micro moments that feel personal yet fleeting, almost like secret messages written in movement rather than speech. A woman who is attracted to you will often find small, thoughtful ways to make her presence felt without ever appearing to try. She might brush crumbs off your sleeve, casually offer something she knows you'll like, or subtly mirror your habits. Actions so small that they could be mistaken for politeness or habit, but they are deliberate in their intimacy. Even the way she laughs, leaning slightly toward you, or the way she tilts her body when you're speaking, are gestures meant to close the distance to create a quiet sense of connection. These actions are soft signals, the silent language of attraction that communicates care, attention, and an unspoken desire to be closer. And yet, most men are too focused on the loud or obvious signs to notice the poetry in these small movements. There is something profoundly telling about a gesture that seems almost accidental. When a woman touches her face, hair, or even lightly brushes against you during conversation, it is often not random. It is a subconscious way of drawing attention and creating intimacy. The subtle brushing of the shoulder or playful nudges carry a weight of meaning that is easy to overlook, but impossible to fake convincingly. It's in the rhythm of these movements, in the way she instinctively adjusts her body or positions herself near you, that her feelings begin to show themselves. These gestures are like breadcrumbs leading toward the truth of her interest, but they require observation and sensitivity to detect because they are intentionally understated, meant only for someone attuned enough to notice. Even more telling are the actions that involve effort, no matter how small. She might go out of her way to bring you something she knows you enjoy, remember little details about your preferences, or offer to help with something seemingly trivial. These acts, though minor in isolation, accumulate into a language of care that is impossible to ignore once you start seeing the pattern. It is in these micro moments, repeated and layered, that the quiet truth of her attraction is revealed. The gestures may be playful, protective, teasing, or tender, but they all share a common thread. They are small expressions of a desire to connect, to create closeness, and to show interest without ever having to say the words aloud. There's a subtle magic in a woman's voice when she's attracted to someone, a shift so delicate that most men don't even realize it's happening. It's not in the words themselves, but in the tone, the rhythm, the softness that seems to drape over her speech like a gentle veil. Suddenly, her laughter becomes more melodic, her sentences slower, softer, as if she's trying to make sure every word lands just right with you. There's a careful, almost unconscious modulation in her pitch that reveals excitement, curiosity, and a touch of vulnerability all at once. It's the kind of change that isn't forced, never rehearsed, but emerges naturally when she's aware of you listening. Men often overlook this because they are waiting for overt signs of interest. But the truth is, the way she speaks carries more honesty than any words of attraction ever could. Her voice becomes a mirror of her feelings, subtle yet impossible to ignore once you start paying attention, revealing layers of interest hidden beneath casual conversation. When a woman likes someone, even the simplest greetings or everyday conversations can carry a new rhythm, almost like her words are dancing around the edges of her feelings. She may speak more slowly, almost deliberately, letting pauses hang just long enough for you to feel the attention she's giving. Her laughter might linger, soft and warm, carrying an undertone of joy that seems specifically reserved for you. Sometimes the change is a slight quiver in her tone, a rising pitch when she's excited or nervous, as though her emotions are leaking into her voice without her realizing it. Men often dismiss these nuances as quirks of personality or mood, but for those who listen carefully, her voice tells a story of attraction that is far more intimate than a passing glance or a casual touch. It's also in the way she responds to you that her voice changes reveal themselves. When she's engaged, genuinely interested, her voice takes on a melodic quality, the kind that makes even mundane conversations feel special. She might repeat words lightly, emphasize certain phrases, or let her intonation rise and fall in a way that subconsciously draws you closer. There's often a softness in her tone, a warmth that signals comfort and openness, and a playful lilt when she teases or jokes. These are the vocal signatures of someone invested in the interaction, someone who is communicating desire and attention without ever having to spell it out. It's the subtle contrast between how she speaks to others and how her words sound when directed at you, an unspoken distinction that reveals where her focus and feelings truly lie. Even in moments of silence or minimal conversation, her voice carries the echoes of her attraction. A sigh, a gentle hum, or even the way she says your name can carry a weight of emotion that goes unnoticed by those not paying attention. It's the tonal shifts, the micro pauses, the melodic patterns, and the tender inflections that reveal how much she is affected by your presence. Men often underestimate how revealing a woman's voice can be because it's easy to dismiss as mood or personality. But when observed carefully, it's a language of attraction in itself, soft yet undeniable, intimate yet public. There's something almost magical about the way a woman mirrors someone she's attracted to, a quiet reflection of your own actions and mannerisms that happens without conscious thought. It's one of those subtle signs that most men completely overlook because it isn't loud or dramatic. It's quiet, almost imperceptible, yet deeply revealing. When she likes you, her body and behavior begin to echo yours in tiny, unintentional ways. She might lean forward when you do, cross her legs in the same direction, or even adopt similar gestures while speaking. It's not mimicry in the obvious sense, but a subconscious alignment, a reflection of comfort, connection, and interest. This mirroring is a psychological signal, a silent way of saying, I see you, I understand you, I want to be in sync with you, and it often happens without her realizing it herself. Mirroring extends beyond posture, it flows into the way she communicates, the rhythm of her speech, the pace of her laughter, and even the expressions she wears while listening. If you tilt your head, she tilts hers slightly too. If you gesture with your hands while talking, she begins to subtly echo those gestures. Over time, these small repetitions create a sense of harmony, a mirrored dance that most men feel but rarely recognize consciously. It's fascinating because it's never forced or staged. It emerges naturally from the comfort and attraction she feels, a silent bridge between two people. For men, noticing these cues can be transformative because they reveal interest in a way that is intimate, organic, and almost impossible to fabricate. There's a delicate psychology behind this, rooted in the way humans naturally connect with those they are drawn to. When someone mirrors you, it releases a subtle emotional resonance, a feeling of being understood and matched, which fosters closeness almost effortlessly. Women often do this instinctively when they are attracted, seeking alignment with the person they like because it creates a sense of subconscious intimacy. The mirroring may start with something as simple as sipping from a cup when you do, laughing when you laugh, or tilting her head in the same direction. But over time, it builds into a rhythm of shared energy that draws both people together. The repetition of these small, subtle actions communicates comfort and attentiveness, the unspoken acknowledgement that she is present, engaged, and interested. It's also in her responsiveness to your moods and reactions that mirroring becomes most apparent. If you become animated or expressive, she naturally adapts, reflecting your energy without thought or pretense. If you are quiet or thoughtful, she softens, matching your pace and tone in conversation. These micro adjustments are unconscious signals of connection, showing that she is attuned not just to your words, but to your entire presence. Men often miss these cues because they seem ordinary on the surface, but when observed carefully, the repeated synchronization between her actions and yours is an unmistakable mark of attraction. Mirroring is not just mimicry, it is empathy in motion, a reflection of emotional alignment, and a silent, persistent way that a woman communicates her interest without having to speak. One of the most telling signs of a woman's attraction is her presence, how she seems to find excuses to be around you, even when there's no obvious reason to. This isn't about coincidence, it's about intention disguised as casual timing. She will appear in places where she knows you will be, linger in conversations that might otherwise end quickly, and make herself part of your world in ways that feel effortless but are deeply deliberate. Men often dismiss these moments as chance or coincidence, but if you start paying attention, patterns emerge. Small, seemingly insignificant gestures that reveal her interest more clearly than words ever could. It could be as simple as showing up at a cafe you frequent, walking the same route home, or finding ways to join group activities she knows you will attend. Each instance is a quiet signal, an unspoken way of saying, I want to be near you, without ever having to confront the vulnerability of expressing it directly. Her presence is often accompanied by a subtle attentiveness that makes her stand out in the crowd. When she's around, she notices the smallest details about your behavior, how you sip your coffee, the way your face lights up when you talk about something you love, or the fleeting expressions that pass across your face. She might laugh at jokes that others barely notice or engage in side conversations that pull her closer to you. The effort is small but persistent, almost invisible unless you're consciously aware. And it's this consistency that makes the sign so powerful. It's not the big gestures that reveal true interest, but the quiet, repeated effort to share space with you, the deliberate choice to exist in your orbit, even in the smallest ways. Women who are genuinely attracted often create excuses to extend time with you, subtly engineering moments where proximity becomes natural. She may suggest coffee breaks, casual walks, or collaborative tasks that require interaction. Even when activities are group oriented, she finds ways to remain close, positioning herself where she can be seen and included, often without making it obvious. These small choices are not manipulations, they are subconscious strategies to deepen connection, to allow her to observe, engage, and share more of herself without forcing the situation. Men frequently miss this because they focus on verbal confirmation or dramatic declarations. Yet attraction is far more often revealed through consistency and presence than through overt statements. Another aspect of this subtle proximity is her responsiveness to shared interests or opportunities. She will mention events, places, or activities she knows you care about, not just as conversation, but as a way to align herself with your plans. Even a fleeting suggestion, a casual question about your availability, or a comment about meeting up can carry the weight of her desire to spend time with you. These gestures, seemingly ordinary, accumulate into a pattern of intentionality. Over time, it becomes clear that her presence is not random, that she has a quiet way of ensuring your paths cross repeatedly, allowing closeness to develop naturally. It is in these repeated, deliberate moments of being near you, the small efforts she makes to insert herself into your life, that her feelings begin to speak louder than any words ever could. Attraction often hides behind a veil of playfulness, and one of the most overlooked signs is the subtle teasing a woman directs towards someone she likes. It isn't aggressive or mean spirited, it's gentle, deliberate, and laced with affection. She teases to create connection, to provoke a reaction, and to see how you respond to her in a space that feels safe yet intimate. Men often mistake teasing for sarcasm or casual humor, failing to notice the rhythm and consistency that differentiate flirtatious play from ordinary banter. There's a softness in the way she delivers these jokes, a sparkle in her eyes, or a mischievous grin that accompanies them, small but unmistakable cues that reveal her underlying interest. Teasing is her way of bridging emotional distance without having to vocalize feelings, using humor as both armor and invitation. What makes subtle teasing so revealing is the balance it strikes between challenge and warmth. She may lightly mock a habit of yours, comment on a minor mistake in a playful tone, or exaggerate a reaction to something you say, not to put you down, but to create a shared moment of laughter. Her words carry a rhythm of familiarity, as if she's testing the waters, gauging how open you are to reciprocal play, and watching for signs that you can engage with her on the same wavelength. The teasing is never cruel. It's a dance that invites you into a private world of connection. Men often miss the emotional undercurrent because they focus solely on the literal meaning of the words, not realizing that behind each joke is a signal of comfort, attention, and attraction. Another aspect of subtle teasing is the physical cues that accompany it. She may brush your arm lightly while laughing at something she said, lean closer when delivering a playful jab, or catch your eye with a lingering glance to see if you're paying attention. The body language adds layers of meaning that words alone cannot convey. Even the timing of the teasing matters. It comes in moments designed to engage, to create shared intimacy, and to linger in the memory long after the words have been spoken. A well-placed tease can spark a reaction, evoke a smile, or elicit a laugh, all while reinforcing the connection and signaling her interest without needing to say it outright. There is also a vulnerability embedded in teasing, an implicit trust that allows her to playfully push boundaries without fear of judgment. It signals that she feels comfortable around you, that she wants to interact in a way that is light-hearted, yet charged with subtle tension. Over time, these moments accumulate, forming a unique language between the two of you, one that is playful, personal, and deeply revealing. Each joke, each light-hearted correction, and each teasing comment becomes a thread weaving a bond that is simultaneously fun, intimate, and unmistakably flirty. For men who learn to read these cues carefully, subtle teasing can be one of the clearest signs that a woman is interested, a quiet but persistent way of showing that she wants your attention, your engagement, and your presence in ways that go beyond casual friendship. At the end of the day, attraction isn't always loud or obvious. It doesn't always come wrapped in grand gestures or bold declarations. Often it's hidden in the quiet moments, the way her eyes linger just a little too long, the small touches that seem accidental but are full of intent, the subtle changes in her voice, the way she mirrors your every move, or how she finds excuses to be near you. It's in the playful teasing that makes you laugh and feel seen, in the gentle rhythm of gestures that speak louder than words ever could. These signs are quiet, delicate, and sometimes easy to miss, but they reveal something far deeper, a connection, a curiosity, and an unspoken desire to be closer. The truth is, noticing them requires patience, awareness, and a willingness to see beyond the surface. Because when you pay attention, when you truly observe, you realize that attraction isn't just expressed, it's felt, lived, and shared in ways that are both subtle and unforgettable.